Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, the podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
Right, which is mainly live music and metal music. If you're watching us, you'll see that we're in a little different of a location. We're driving home from a show. What show did we go see?
We went to see Bloodywood in St. Louis.
Saugt, whatever it's called.
Saugt, Illinois. Possibly.
But yeah, they did keep saying, all the bands were saying St. Louis throughout the performance.
Yeah, it's right over the river, so I understand why they're calling it St. Louis.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Kind of like Tinley Park is Chicago.
I was going to say that exact same thing. It's just like that. Let me log in here.
But also...
Yeah, so we actually saw them the night before, too, right?
We did see them the night before, yeah. So I'm not sure how this is going to come together, but... Should we talk about Chicago, then talk about...
I think we can kind of roll them in one. The only thing that's
okay.
really different is going to be...
The venue.
The venue for the most part.
Yeah.
So, in Chicago, we did see them the night before, so this is all part of their Rakshak tour, I believe is how you pronounce that.
Do you want to go through all your normal stuff that you like to go through, and then we'll get into the venues? I think that's a good way to do it. Let's go through the stuff that we normally go through. We'll talk about both venues separately, and then we'll just talk about the concert as a whole.
Sure.
Because it was the same.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
So as we said, this was the Rakshak tour. As we said, this was the Rakshak US tour 2023. Opening for them, we had Vended and Wargasm. We saw the Chicago show at the Metro on May 12th and May 13th the following night at Pop's concert venue in Saugt, Illinois, or St. Louis, however you want to say that. The tickets for Metro were $25 and $7.08 in fees, no tax. Pop's was $27.50, no
Just
fees,
flat, right?
no tax. Yep. Both of them had different ticketing distributors. We had eTix for Metro and then TicketWeb. I'm assuming that's just what the general...
Like the venue uses?
The venue uses for their tickets, so that's why it's different.
Which is awesome, because they're using an independent ticket holder, or ticket access, or distributors, and not using like a Live Nation or Ticketmaster or AXS. I mean, AXS is probably the best out of all three that I just mentioned, but it's cool to use the local, or like the little guys too. Live Nation and Ticketmaster are the same thing anyway. They are, yeah.
Also, though, with the Chicago show, we did the VIP upgrade, the meet and greet, our very first meet and greet. This was $50 and then $10 in fees. It came with a meet and greet with Bloodywood, individual photos with Bloodywood, 11 by 17 poster, tote bag, and then VIP laminate with lanyard. And honestly, the only reason I wanted that was for the poster. I've paid $50 at a show for a poster. I think the average is like $30 to $50, depending on where you get it and who it is. Probably
the size of the poster would have been, so we have two of them from Whitechapel that size, and they were $15, and both of them were signed also. So I don't know. This one was
signed as well.
Yeah, so I don't know what
the quality of this one also, like the paper, is a little thicker.
Yeah, it's thicker than the Whitechapel one.
Whitechapel is like a very thin.
Yeah, this could have been $25, $30 easy.
Yeah.
But we got it signed also. I mean, they didn't sign it in front of us, but it was already signed when we got it. So
meet and greet aspect of it was fine.
Yeah.
You got into the venue early. You go up to where you're meeting the band. Vended was also doing a meet and greet, so they were upstairs. We were on the balcony. We were on the main floor for Bloodywood, and we all just sort of huddled in there, kind of in a mass, just standing around talking with other people, other fans. And then the lady comes out and she's like, all right, I need everybody to get into a single file line and we'll do the photos. And eventually they came in, they said, hey, sorry, it was taking a little bit longer. They're running a little bit behind. I think because there's another VIP package they do where you get like the tour bus experience, where you get to go see their tour bus, and I think you got to play like video games with them.
Yeah, and I think that was pretty limited on how many did that, but yeah, you got to play like some game. Tekken. Okay, so they got to play Tekken, and then you get to tour their tour bus as well. So that would be kind of cool because it's more like personal, or whatever. I would have maybe done it and just been like, I don't want to play a video game. But
yeah, but I think then you also get like the meet and greet thing.
Then you did, yeah, because I saw a couple of people get off the bus, because the bus was sitting right outside of Metro in Chicago, and I saw some people get off the bus and changing lanes, and then I saw them in the VIP as well. So yeah, I think you get to do the whole photo op thing as well. So
we were sitting out waiting to get in for the VIP thing, and the growl vocalist and the guy who sings Hindi, Jayant, I think is his name.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Jayant. And then last name, I'm gonna butcher this, so sorry. Buhadula, Bhadula.
Yeah, we're very sorry.
Jayant Buhadula. So yeah, I butchered that name, sorry. But he just comes out. So we watched also, before they even did their tour, they did like a live stream. They were talking about their big announcement of they had a tour bus this year.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks before they came to the U.S. They announced that they had a tour bus. Because when we saw them last year, they had a 15-passenger, 12-passenger van, something like that.
That they all piled
into. They piled in and like slept and all that crap into a van. And so.
But during that, he was wearing this Dragon Ball Z shirt.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh shit, that's awesome. Dragon Ball Z, I like Dragon Ball Z. And I think that's then when I decided to, that's when I think I decided to go like download all the Dragon Ball Z and start watching them again.
That you legally got.
Yeah, sure. Anywho, he comes out, just pops open the bus and like pulls out a bag. Yeah.
Well, first, so it was kind of funny because he opens the bus door. And, like, I'm standing right in front of the bus door, and I just, like, look and stare at him. And I'm like, do I say hi? What do I do? And then he just, like, kind of looks around, and then he goes and gets his bag.
And he, like, sits down there, gets out his phone, and, like, calls somebody or does something, I don't know what. But I thought that was weird, like, oh, your phone's down here, but all right, whatever. But yeah, just sitting there under the bus in the little cargo hold, like, hanging out. And so the VIP lady who's taking our photos when we went up there, she was also doing the photos. Turns out I can't remember her name.
Holly,
yeah.
Holly.
She's doing the photos, they're social managing, all of that stuff for this tour. And she just walks up and is like, you look like Bilbo Baggins when you're under there like that. And that's something that I came to realize last night at the second show was these guys are just fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's Dragon Ball Z references in their song. I picked up on that a little while ago. Not right away when I first listened to it, but after, like second or third listen to a song, I was like, holy shit, there's, like, Kamehameha and, like, I can't think about it. King Kai taught Goku this trick, or this technique. I can't remember. It'll come to me. But
I don't know what you're talking about, so I can't help.
Kaioken technique, yes.
Okay.
And they brought that up, like there's a lot of Kaioken energy in here or some shit like that. And then even there was a part last night where they're singing or doing their like crowd interactions. They're like, get your fists up, let your Patronuses shout out.
See, all these things I didn't know. Like I don't. Like they say it, but like I don't like resonate with it or whatever. Like I don't know what they're talking about. Does that make sense?
Like I mean, it does make sense, but it's like, well, there's a Harry Potter reference now. Like these guys are just fucking nerds, and I love it. Like I'm nerdy at my heart too. Like comic books, C2E. Like C2E is like my thing I look forward to every year. I love that fucking show so much.
So even in the photo, like they're doing like hand movements and stuff. Like they're like posing in a way. I didn't understand it. I just thought it was cool. But you said it was Dragon Ball Z like stuff or like something from Dragon Ball Z.
You were like, oh, it's a Pokemon thing.
I did say Pokemon.
And I was like,
because he's holding. I can't. I'm driving. I'm sorry, guys. He's holding his hands open.
Like that. I was like, no, that's Goku's Kamehameha. Like that's what he's doing.
I'm not into any of that, so I don't know.
And he was wearing that same, like we said, that Dragon Ball Z shirt again. Another guy had like a 5-finger.
I know, Kill Switch Engage.
Yeah.
And then the Indian drummer, I don't know what his name is. but he plays the traditional drum, and he was wearing an Emirates like soccer jersey or football jersey. I guess you would call it football jersey. And then Raul was wearing. Was he wearing the same shirt they wore that night for the concert? The green,
I don't know.
no flag shirt.
Yeah.
Oh no, he said "Stop War." His said "Stop Wars" on it. It was like a black. It was in Star Wars writing, but it said "Stop Wars" instead of Star Wars. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It was.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. I mean, the whole experience was a minute, like that you get with the band.
Yeah. So you just like shake their hand, say hi.
Yeah.
Some people were having more conversations with them. I think somebody had a set list from a past show that they had them sign.
No, she printed out her ticket because she was sitting in front of us and I saw it. So she like actually printed the whole ticket thing that you could print, I guess.
Gotcha. So like when you scan to go in type thing and have them sign that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. Like we had a little bit of interaction with them because I was wearing Avatar, and the Hindi vocalist said, again, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but the Hindi vocalist was like, oh, Avatar, they're a good band. And I was like, yeah, like they're, I joked and I was like, come back to Chicago on Monday, they'll be here. But I don't know if he, like, I mean, it was so quick. It's like such a quick interaction. It's not like a, you know, like sit down and actually have a conversation. It's so quick. And then you get your picture taken. And
then we had to leave the venue again, but we stood in a separate line because we got in first.
Yeah.
But I think that's just how they
did it.
Did their thing, yeah.
Which is a small venue, so it kind of makes sense. Like you can't just have people like hanging out in the venue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and like I said, the whole thing. If you didn't get the poster, I probably wouldn't have done it. If they had just a poster for selling merch, I would have just bought it there.
Yeah.
I really like buying posters and collecting posters from bands, for especially live shows.
Yeah, as you know, because we do the whole 666 poster edition.
Yep.
We'll put up a photo of us with the band. Yeah. It's kind of cool. It's cool.
Venue, I guess. Jumping into Metro.
Yeah, let's talk about the Metro first, because that's where we went in Chicago.
Yep. I like this venue a lot. It's old. It's up by Wrigley. It's like a block north of Wrigley.
Yep. It almost looks like, I mean, it does have like a little marquee thing, but it almost just looks like you're entering like a bar or something. Like it doesn't, it's not like a Aragon or something like that that's like screaming like this. It doesn't
have the massive marquees that those have. Yeah, it has like a little thing that jets out with their logo.
Yep.
And then they can put like with the old letters and whatnot.
The old, like the little, like where you can put the letters up. Yeah.
Like gas station letters or. I guess like
fast food letters.
Yeah, they use them too. But yeah, just this old building, lots of character, it's ornate everywhere. Like it's really cool. The main stage is upstairs, so when you enter in the first level, that's where like your coat check is, and merch was down there as well. And then you go through security, you go up the stairs. Very similar to Aragon. Where you go up the stairs and then it splits going left or right. And they had stairs on both sides of that main. So like when you walk straight in and then you can go left or right and there's stairs, and then once you hit the landing of those stairs you go left or right up another flight. Then when you're up there on the second floor, that's the main show floor. Massive bar around that sort of jets around the stage left.
Cash only bar.
Cash only, yeah.
So if anybody is listening to this and going to Metro for any show, cash only. But they have ATMs.
They do have ATMs. And then from here also you can go up to the third floor, which is where the balcony is. I didn't actually go up there. I wanted to and I forgot to. You did, because that's where the women's restroom is.
Yeah, so up there is a bar in the middle. And sorry, I can't use my hands because I'm driving. But there's a bar in the middle, and then it like kind of wraps around the entire floor. So you have basically like a rail at the top, or the balcony rail, I guess, like that wraps around the whole thing. I did see that was pretty full, like right in front of the stage was pretty full when I went up there, just on the rail, not like back. And then on the sides, there were a couple folding chairs, but I don't think it was like for patrons to sit on. Maybe it is.
Yeah, I don't think I saw anybody up there during the show.
Yeah.
I can't remember though.
I think I mean, because if you did sit, you wouldn't be able to see. It's not like balcony seating or whatever. It's not like a raised seating. So I think the folding chairs might have been for employees to sit on, honestly. But
yeah. Anyway, I mean, I don't know. It's very ornate too around the main stage as well.
In 2 miles, keep right onto I-55 North.
Very ornate around the main stage as well. I don't know. This is our first time there.
Yeah, it was our first time, and I mean, it's ornate, but not ornate in the way of like Aragon or House of Blues.
No, I guess when I'm saying ornate, I'm thinking more like it's old architecture.
Yeah.
Old building.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, and on both sides of the stage, there is like a little ornate. I would call this ornate, but like an ornate cutout where you would, I mean, maybe put a figure there and then have a light shine down or something like to spotlight it. So
like, I guess also when I say ornate, I'm thinking like the facade around the stage. Like you have more texture and more. It gives it, I don't know, this old feel. Plaster, yeah.
The plaster look.
But I don't know. I was amazed when we got in there. It's kind of small.
It is small. I was surprised at how small it was because I was expecting something a little bit larger.
Yeah, and when I think about this building, or I thought this when we were sitting there watching it, I don't know how many people were there. I know you said Metallica only sold 300 tickets when they did their surprise show.
I made up a number. I said like, I think I was just saying like, oh, no wonder they only sold 300 tickets. Like,
gotcha.
I knew it was a very small amount. It could hold like 1,000 maybe, because like if you think about the balcony and down below, it could maybe hold that. I tried to look around to find like a capacity sign, and I mean I didn't look hard, but I didn't see one.
But when I was standing there watching it, I don't remember exactly when I thought this, but I was like, this is what I want House of Blues to be like.
Yes.
Like, it's just a giant open floor. Yeah. Not giant, but it's just an open floor that you're standing on. The one weird thing, later on towards, after
Wargasm,
we moved over to further to our right on stage left, and there's like this little platform thing that you like step up onto. I think that could be a place where other bands play, or they said merch. I don't know what that purpose is.
In front of the other bars, so
yeah. I mean, but it looks like it was a small stage that like a small band could play on. But
possibly.
Like you have the big stage, so I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was weird. That's all I wanted to bring up. But
we stood up there, so I could see the whole thing. So
yeah, but this is, like I said, this is what I want House of Blues to be. I don't need all of the railings and the little cutout walkways and stuff like that. Like, it actually, in my opinion, hurts the venue and the viewing experience because you can't really move around, and we've talked about that a lot. So going here, I was very happy to finally be here, finally see a show.
Yeah, because this is the place that like everybody's like, oh, have you been to the Metro? And we're always like, no.
It's like an iconic location in Chicago.
Yeah.
So.
And there was like, I think there was 3 concerts this month there, and this is the only one that we could make it work to go. And now I kind of, not that I'm disappointed, but I'm like, man, I wish we would have been able to see more shows, but there was just so much that we already booked for. So
I don't know, it was a fun, awesome experience. I liked this venue a lot.
Do you want to talk about the Pops?
Let's do Pops, let's get into that. So as you said, this was right across the border, right over the river from St. Louis. We stayed in St. Louis.
Yeah, we stayed in St. Louis by the Arch, and it was a 3-mile drive.
Yeah, like a 6-minute drive or something like that.
Yeah.
Really massive parking lot that you go into.
Yep.
It said a burlesque club, I think cabaret club or something. It's strip
club.
I
think there was 2 strip clubs.
Were there 2?
So yeah, because right by the dispensary that we went to today was Diamond, which I'm pretty sure was a strip club, and then the Country something, I'm pretty sure was a strip club as well.
Oh, I only saw the one behind. I didn't think Diamond.
Yeah.
I don't even remember seeing that.
Seeing that one, yeah. So that was connected to the dispensary that we went to today. I want to get the name right. It's Pops Music Hall.
Pops Concert Venue.
Oh, Pops Concert Venue. Okay.
I'm
and
pretty sure. At least that's what I have on the spreadsheet.
It's on Saugt, Illinois, or Saugt.
Saugt, whatever. Yeah, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
But even their Instagram is Pops Rocks STL for St. Louis.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they claim St. Louis too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a venue right there.
Yeah, it makes sense.
When we stopped for lunch on the way home, they were talking about it too. Like, oh yeah, they go to Pops all the time.
Oh, really? Did they say that?
They did. So like,
I didn't hear that.
We were like an hour north of Pops or something like that.
Yeah.
So
it must be a pretty popular place then to go.
Yeah.
Or like a small venue place, kind of like a Forge or a, Chicago has a lot, like Aragon and all those, but like Forge would probably be the closest type of thing.
I don't know. Like, this is such a weird venue.
Well, it is. I was meaning like a small venue that books named bands.
Gotcha.
That's what I was meaning.
Gotcha.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't meaning like.
Yeah, no,
the look of it and everything.
And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. This is our first show we've seen there, so I've actually never heard of this venue before this. So
no, I've never. Yeah,
I have no idea what does come there and what doesn't. It's a weird venue.
It's a bar.
Yeah, we left, and I was like, or we were standing there getting ready to leave, and I was like, this reminds me of something we would see in Grinnell, Iowa, like where we grew up. It reminded me a lot of the Ninth Hole.
Yeah,
but larger.
Yeah.
The Ninth Hole used to be a bar. It's kind of closed down a long time ago, I think. But
yeah,
it was just this long, straight bar. And this was too, right? It's this really long, rectangular building. Half of it was closed off, and there was like video gambling machines and whatnot on that side. I remember looking through the curtain and couldn't quite see and couldn't quite.
Yeah, they have a bar over there too, because I could see that.
Yeah, but that wasn't in use tonight.
No.
The main show floor, like you had the stage in front, a lot of high top tables.
Yes.
In the middle.
Yeah.
And then in the back, you had another bar back there where people were working and serving up beer and whatnot.
And that was a pretty big bar.
Yep. You had a balcony up top as well.
Yeah, we didn't go up there. We need to work on that.
Yeah.
Where even before the concert starts, just take a loop.
The cool thing I did notice about that, however, was the sound stage or the soundboard was up there.
Oh, was it?
So it wasn't on the main floor. It was, I think so anyway. I thought that's what I noticed.
Okay.
It was up there. And then honestly, I mean, this venue is weird. Like I said, it's a bar that has a stage. The high tops were a little weird to me, but everybody was taking those up like right away. That seemed like the main thing to take up was get your high top.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed this venue. It was.
I did too.
Really cool.
I did too.
It's weird, but like weird in a good way.
Yeah.
It's very. It's like a.
It's country in my mind.
Yeah, I can see that.
Does that make sense? Like it's like a not country like country music, but like small town like
Midwest Iowa.
Midwest
kind of feel to it.
Yeah, definitely. But the first time that we saw Bloodywood was in Beat Kitchen in Chicago, which is also a bar venue. It's just set up a little bit differently, where it's the bar's in front and then the stage is in a separate room in the back. Because of how Chicago buildings are, it's like long, so you can't really have the. I mean, if it was like set up the same, like where the bar and the venue were in the same, or the bar and the stage were in the same room, it would be almost the same.
Yeah, I've been to a few more of those bar type shows than you have, and they're all basically set up the same way, where there is a split between the bar and the.
So different than this.
Yeah, where there is sort of a barrier, a doorway, a wall that you have to like go through to get to the music aspect of the venue.
Okay.
I think that's much more common, especially in Chicago, like you're saying, and it could be due to the way the buildings are built and designed.
Yeah.
Like they're older buildings a lot of the time, right? That they've just sort of been repurposed for. Here's a bar up front and a music venue in the back. And also, like, when you do that now, you can also keep that separate for people who just want to hang out and have a drink.
Like Beat Kitchen, I don't know if they allowed that. Or
they may not have, because it had been a sold-out show.
It was a sold-out, yeah.
But if it wasn't a sold-out show, then it may have been just like, oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
Another one that's similar to that is like Bottom Lounge, where it's set up a little differently for sure, because it's a newer building that they built. But same thing, where there's a clear divide between what the bar is.
The two, yeah.
This one really wasn't. It was just, like we said, wide open.
I might be going there. So I might be able to give my opinion on that sometime.
But Yeah, I loved this venue too.
I did
It was
too.
really cool.
I liked the experience. So my thought when we first walked in and seeing that the high tops were set up, and they were set up with like bar stools, like a bar. When I first saw that, I was like, is there enough room here for like a floor? In my mind, like that's the first thing I thought of. But I mean, it worked out perfect. I mean, I really enjoyed the show here, and I really enjoyed the venue as a whole. And there was enough room. I mean, it's so big that you could like move out and in and move all over the place. So. We
were on stage right this night, so the previous night stage left, where we almost always end up going for some reason, and then stage right this particular show.
Yeah, and this time we started off on like a barrier, not like the rail, but then some people moved, so then you were like on the rail and I was like on the barrier for a little bit.
So we did basically get rail for the show.
I mean, it was easy though. When we got there, there
weren't many people there.
Not very many,
It didn't seem like at the end of the night also there were a whole lot of people as well.
I thought it filled out pretty well.
It was just
spread out.
It did.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't like Chicago.
I don't think it was a sold out show.
No. And Chicago was Chicago wasn't sold out.
It wasn't?
No, because like even on the marquee it said, or marquee, the sign, whatever, it said tickets available.
Oh, okay.
So, and I'm sure if it was sold out, they would put sold out there instead of the tickets available.
Yeah.
But I mean, Chicago was pretty full. It filled out pretty well too. So.
Yeah, it did. I guess getting into the bands then, unless there's anything else you want to talk about the venue.
No. I mean, yeah. Let's just go into Wargasm.
Yeah. So same thing. Both nights. I don't feel like this was a more pre-COVID show experience, in my opinion, where people don't show up for the first band and then they slowly start to fill up later.
And both nights were that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Wargasm from the UK.
Yep.
Come out, and I really liked this band. I know you didn't.
I didn't as much. The second night was better.
Okay. Because you kind of knew what to expect.
I knew what to expect, yeah.
Okay.
Where the first night I was like trying to figure it out, sort of thing.
So one thing we didn't mention, the first night we did go with a friend, Alex of ours.
Yeah.
Met him there for the show, and he was saying he listened to a bit of their music. Apparently there were like 2 Wargasms, one more techno-y, and then one, the UK one that is
Alex,
this band.
Alex is not the one that mentioned that. It was a guy that we were talking to at VIP
one of the
that
guys
said
at VIP.
that that he thought that there was 2 and the non-UK one was going to be at the show.
Okay.
So now I kind of want to look up to see what the other one sounds like. I didn't get the techno aspect that he was talking about that he heard on Spotify, though.
Did he say that with the... I was confused. I thought he said there's the Wargasm we saw, and there's more of a techno one that he listened to.
So, yeah, maybe the one that we saw is the one that he was mentioning. I thought he said the UK one was the techno, but I mean, that's a conversation that we didn't like. I don't know.
I guess the thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was funny was I thought we had that conversation with Alex.
No,
and after they got done, Alex said, "Not my cup of tea." And
just how he said it.
Well, that, and then I didn't put 2 and 2 together until yesterday morning when we were driving to St. Louis. They're Brits. Brits love tea. So not my cup of tea.
So that was a little...
It was very punny of him.
That was a little pun, yeah. I didn't catch that.
I hate puns, but that one made me smile when I thought about the next
Once
day.
you got it.
I don't know if that's what he was going for. And that's why I said, like, that whole conversation and that one comment made me smile. But you said the same thing. You didn't enjoy them the first night. I loved them. I thought they were fucking awesome. They call themselves new metal, I think, and I get that. I definitely get the new metal aspect.
Yeah, I get that too.
But I definitely get heavy punk influence as well.
See, I think it's a little too, I'm going to say punky, but a little too much on the punk side than the new metal side. I get the new metal aspects as well. But yeah, the second night was better, but like you said, I think it was because I knew what to expect, or I knew what was coming.
You know what was going in.
But I don't think it's going to be on my list of, oh my god, I have to listen to this.
They said they were going to come back in September.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see him again in September. I think it's
cool.
I had a blast.
Yeah. I'll go with you. I mean, I'll go with you to see them. It's just not something that I think I'm going to be listening to in between, sort of thing.
Yeah. Going over their set list real quick. Super Fiend, Drildo, Rage All Over, Pyro Pyro, Fuckstar, Backyard Bastards, Lap Dance, and Spit. And I think it's Backyard Bastards where I think that's the turn. I'll have to listen to it again. But how it starts, I'm pretty sure it's this one. It reminded me a lot of OTEP. The music and the vocals and the cadence all reminded me of like Royal. Or Royals, whatever the fuck that song is.
Yeah.
But it had to me a very heavy OTEP vibe on that one particular track. The energy of the band was fucking awesome.
The energy is crazy.
And they're doing everything. Like they come out and there's two singers, this female singer vocalist and male vocalist, and he's playing guitar, she's playing bass. They have another guitar player with them. They have the drummer too, and then they have this dude on a gun case, which is
not a
shaped
gun.
Like not a gun.
I like that. Maybe we could. Do you have a photo of that?
I do. Yeah.
Maybe we could put a photo up of that or something to show it. It's fun.
That's the first thing I noticed when we walked in.
Before you even got in the door, you're like, not a gun, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I don't. So, like I said, they come out. She's playing bass. The other vocalist is playing guitar. And then it's just those members, right? There's not another guitar player.
There's a guitar player.
No, there's the one guitar player.
Yeah.
But there's not a third.
There's not a third. No.
Okay.
No.
And after like the first track, they walk over. The two vocalists do and hand this dude with the gun case their guitars, and he like takes them. He's tuning them up. I did notice at the Metro also the sound stage was off to the side as well, on our side on stage left, and he did look down at him. He like pointed up like we need more feedback or whatever, but then he's up there fiddling with shit too, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's fucking going insane during this performance, like headbanging his ass off and just losing his mind. But he's doing something in this case, so I think he's a sound engineer. He's also DJing a little bit. I think I picked that up a little bit last night at the second show. And then for Spit, which is a cover, they break into Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit as well, like a little hint there. And he comes out and sings that and jumps around.
Sings that,
And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck his role in the band is, but he's a blast to watch.
He is. So we were on stage left where he was standing at the Metro in Chicago, and oh my gosh, his like headbanging energy was just insane. Like, I mean, you just said that, but I couldn't imagine. Like, I don't know how people go like that for even 30 minutes. Like, I mean, we headbang, but not like that.
Yeah. I don't know. The stage performance all around. The other guitar players just sitting up there, jumping around, jumping in circles and shit. They're all having a great time.
Yeah. I wonder if they're all from the UK.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm curious.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we don't know much about the band except for that they're from the UK. But.
I had a blast. I loved their set. I loved their energy. I did love the music. It was really good. It was definitely more punky. And I'm not super big into punk anyway. So this is sort of
that is weird.
This is like the border for me of like, all right, if it went a little bit too more on the punk side, maybe it wouldn't have.
Because even some metalcore that I've been listening to, you're like, oh, it sounds a little punky to me, and you're like, I don't like it.
I don't know. I've never really been into punk for some reason. It's so weird. Which is just like a cousin of metal, in my opinion.
Yeah. A lot of people think, well, not think, but I mean, there's that line where you're like, oh, I'm into rock music or whatever, but it's like the punky music. Yeah. Which is fine, cool. Like, do whatever you are into. I don't
I will say the crowd energy all throughout both shows. I did enjoy Chicago a bit more.
Yeah,
and I don't know,
especially during Wargasm.
Yeah, but I also don't know if that was just sort of the
number of people.
The number of people in the setup, where with the Metro it is more closed in, versus this, which is just so massive and big, and you have plenty of room to like bounce about, right?
Yeah.
So I like both aspects of it. In terms of the crowd energy and crowd atmosphere, I did enjoy the Metro a little bit more.
A little bit better.
But overall, both nights for all the bands were fucking awesome. But that is true. There's a bit where they're like, "Do you guys know what a circle pit is? Let's do a circle pit." And Chicago starts doing one right away. And they do the same bit where they start playing the song, and then the male vocalist comes out and he's like, "Hold up, stop. I fucking asked you if you know what a circle pit is. Chicago knew what a circle pit was."
Last night that was funny when they were like...
Which was the night before.
Yeah, it was like, Chicago knew what it was.
But in Chicago, it's like, LA knows what a circle pit is. Do you fuckers know what it is? I said, circle pit, fucking go. And then, they start the song over. That was kind of a fun bit. Yeah. I did enjoy that.
In Chicago, it was fun. Last night, it was expected.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same show. We know that. So, I mean, that's nothing. But last night was kind of more of like there was 4 guys that were doing a circle pit. So it was kind of, I mean, granted, we can't speak because we
don't do that.
Yeah.
And the other bit that I really enjoyed, and so toward the end of the set, they start getting their instruments out again. She starts picking up the bass again, playing that. He picks up the guitar, I think, and plays that for the last song. But there's a moment, I think, for that last song where he stands on the rail, and the sound engineer guy comes back and gives him a lot of rope, essentially, right, for the mic port. And he stage drives into the crowd and crowd surfs for a little bit. In Chicago, it was funny because when he jumped, the mic became unplugged. Oh. And the dude's standing up there and he's like holding it, looking at it,
I saw that, yeah.
And then he like looked at the girl and he's like, the woman, and he's like,
what do I do?
He's not, but he's still out there singing.
2 miles, keep left onto I-55 north toward Chicago.
And as soon as he jumps back on stage, he takes it, plugs it back in, and he just continues singing like nothing happened.
Right.
That was hilarious to me. Like, shit like that's going to happen on your show. The band doesn't stop and say, all right, well, you can't do this. Everybody kept going and like, whatever, it is what it is. We'll keep going. It's part of the live experience. It's meant to happen.
Right. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, stop it? Be like, oh, sorry, got to do that all over again.
Yeah.
Like, no, you just keep going.
So, yeah, I'll check them out again. I had a lot of fun at that show.
I'll go when you go. They said that they're coming in September, so if we can make it, like, I'll go with you.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to be like, no, you have to go by yourself.
Yeah.
Unless they're with Baroness, then I'm not going.
Great band. Check them out. It's a lot of fun. They're great live, too. And then that leads us to Vended.
Vended from Des Moines, Iowa.
Our pseudo old home type thing.
Yes.
We were supposed to see Vended at Line Fest. They were like one of the first openers, if not the first opener.
I think they might have been first. Yeah, they might have been the first band. Or they were the second band.
But we didn't get to see them because we were in a fucking line, which we had a whole podcast on that. Yep. Someday we'll post it.
We'll get that posted sometime. Maybe before this. I don't know.
It was a shitty experience, and it sucks because they came on and they fucking killed it. I loved this band.
I know. If we would have seen them in 2021 in September, like, we would have been like checking them out all last year too, and hopefully seeing them last year. But we didn't know because we were in line. So
yeah, and I don't know. They came out and it was a killer fucking show. So much goddamn energy again. The sound was awesome. I had a blast with this band.
So with the band, this is the lead vocalist is Corey Taylor's son from Slipknot, and then the drummer is Clown's son, also from Slipknot.
Yep. So Griffin Taylor, the vocalist. Simon Crahan. Simon Crahan is the drummer. Then you also have Cole Espeland.
Okay.
Fucked up that name, sorry. Connor, I'm going to fuck this up too. Sorry.
Colin Connor. Got those.
Colin Connor.
Are they the guitarists? Or does it not say?
Not Colin. Cole. Cole is lead guitar. Connor is guitar as well. And Jeremiah is bass and backing vocals.
Okay.
So yeah, I knew Griffin was Corey Taylor's son.
Yeah.
I may have known about Simon being Clown's son, but
I think I don't know when they formed as a band, but I remember hearing like the first thing, and it was either on one of those things like The Pit or Metal Junkie or something, one of those like online publications, which was probably done by one and then they all copy it. But it was, they said like, oh, Clown and Corey's son formed a band out of they kind of made it seem like on the backs of Slipknot, but
so I was trying to debate how much of this to bring into the episode and talk about, but I had heard that too, and I don't know if it was on a magazines or other.
We might have read the same thing.
But early on, I remember people being like, "Oh, well, they're only here because of Corey Taylor and Sean." And I was like, I mean, sorry, take a quick drink. I mean, to some extent, I guess I can see people being like, well, you had doors open for you because you know these people. And to some extent, that's true. But that's how life works. It's all about who you know and making those connections. Like, I remember in high school, I think our principal at the time was saying, like, you got to network. You have to know how to network. Networking is the most important thing you can learn. It's the best skill you can have. Network. And I was like, fuck you. This is stupid. I don't care. But it is. Like, it's who you know. It's those connections that 10 years down the road, somebody you met at a work thing, a work event, that is, they remembered you and they're spinning up like a side project they're working on. They're like, hey, you were cool. I worked with you a little bit. You were awesome to work with and hang out with. Like, you're good at what you do. You wanna come try this out?
Yeah.
So, like, yes, that's true. Who you know opens doors, but all it does is open a door. If you can't back that shit up, then you're going nowhere.
Right.
And they're 2 of 5 members. There's 3 other members in this band that are, in this band as well. So it's not just these 2. It's the band as a whole. And the band as a whole is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're so good. The energy on the stage. And we were talking about this too. You mentioned that he sounds just like Corey Taylor.
Yeah. Like, the voice sounds very similar. I mean, I love Corey Taylor's voice, but his voice sounds very similar. And also his singing technique, I guess. I don't know how you would say that, but
stage presence.
The stage presence is very similar as well. But you were saying when we saw them the first time on the Metro, it's like, well, or maybe it was after the concert, I can't remember, but you were like, well, when you have like, it used to be called like an apprenticeship, but like if you have like a mentor that does something one way, that's how you're going to pick it up and do it as well.
Well, yeah.
Same as like any office job. Like if you get trained by somebody who does it one way, that's how you're going to do it as well, even if somebody else does it differently.
And it's not even just being trained one way by one person, right? Like, it's also, I think nowadays, a master class in X. And if you want to be a front person, I would say you look at James Hetfield and Corey Taylor, in my opinion, and I guess maybe like Till Lindemann, like for for putting on a show and putting on and just like commanding a crowd and what they do, how they approach their craft. Because it's not just singing; it's the movements. It's how do you get the crowd energized? How do you interact with them? All of that sort of stuff goes into the craft of being a lead vocalist, right? So if you're going to learn from it, those are the 3 people I would say, watch them, do what you're going to, follow what they do. So even if he's not Corey Taylor's son,
he could have just listened to Slipknot and picked up on,
oh, here's what Corey's doing. I like that. He gets the crowd, like, when he does this thing, the crowd responds to it, and that's a good response that I want. So, having then Corey as your father as well, you can just pick his brain and be like, you can find all the nuances and get the, like, feedback, like, hey, I saw you do XYZ, that was good, try tweaking this a little bit, or look at this. Like, I don't know if they have those conversations, but, like, if I was in his shoes, that's what I would probably have been doing as well, right?
Right. And, like, I want to kind of go back to that article that we probably read almost the same thing, or whatever, but to kind of play it off as, like, this band is only here because their fathers are in a very successwell band is kind of bullshit, because, like you said, like, they have worked hard, and they have 3 other members who, well, we don't know.
Asses off.
Well, we don't know. Like, maybe their parents are in music in some way, but we, you know, it's not like they're in Slipknot. But it's also, what I was going to say is, like, any profession, you're going to you're either going to mimic what your parents do, or you're going to be like, I don't want to be like them, and I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So there's so many, like, other trades and everything that, like, you follow your parents into that, or you follow somebody that you know into that. So it's, like, kind of bullshit to be like, they're only a band because of X.
So,
and that, I mean, maybe whoever wrote that article, like, has changed their mind now, but still, it's a comment to make on that.
Yeah, and not to spend too much time on Slipknot, but we went to see them at Knotfest in Denver. When was that, 2019?
2019, yeah.
I remember that was a great show. I loved it. I remember standing there. We were on stage right, I think, at that particular show.
Okay, I don't remember that.
I do, because it was funny, because they're using their new setup that they had for We Are Not Your Kind and whatnot, right? And under the drum kit, the side percussion drum kit, right? So you have the 2 on the side and the middle.
Yeah, I followed you,
Corey, in between songs, would go off stage, grab some water, and just cool down a little bit, and then come back out. And then next song, go out, get another drink of water, come back out. And we were sort of far enough over that you can kind of see behind the stage sort of thing, or off to the side, and you'd see Corey go back there. And there's this blonde kid just,
oh my gosh, was that
jumping around and like, fuck yeah, that's awesome, you're doing great, it's fucking cool, you're killing it. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Corey's got himself a hype man?
Was that Griffin?
I think it was.
Oh my gosh.
I think so. Like, I was like, what the shit? What is going on here?
Yeah.
This is kind of cool. I don't know what the fuck's this is all about, but, or if it's just like a fan, like, I had no clue what was going on. I was like, who is this guy? What's he doing here?
I kind of remember that, because I remember you could see backstage, but I kind of remember that, but, like, I wasn't putting anything together that could have been.
I'm pretty sure it was, now looking back on it, but I do remember that.
So back to the whole, something just popped in my mind about the whole, like, oh, they're only here because of Slipknot. But I guess somebody could play that up as Slipknot. I don't know if they toured with Slipknot, but, like, say Line Fest, like, they signed them to Line Fest. Yeah. But they were an opening band.
I think that may have been part of it as well, of, like,
one of the
this is a band that shouldn't, like, they're so young in their career to be at this point, like, have this
at this festival
be at this slot, even though it's like an opening slot. Like, I didn't get that as well. Like, there were a lot of newer bands at that particular
look at
Winded
any
7,
festival.
Gate Creeper, Not Loose, like, and Slipknot's been doing that shit forever, of just, like, bringing up younger bands. We've talked about this too, where it helps everyone out. Like, you support the younger bands that are coming up, and you give them support. Mm-hmm. Their fans are then going to, like, grow, and it just helps you overall. If one band succeeds, every band succeeds, because fans are going to want to seek out more music like this band. They're going to want to go to more performances like this band.
Yep.
So, if, let's say, Trivium is doing well, like, and they're popping up,
say that they're doing well?
Avatar opened for them, right?
Yeah.
Now Avatar is becoming like a headlining thing. So like it's very cyclical. Like you don't just help yourself out, you help out everybody in the community, and the community as a whole grows. And I love that mentality, and I definitely see it in metal for sure.
You hear that a lot, like at the concerts where the openers are like really grateful for people who show up for the opening acts, because they know, well, not always, but like they know that pretty much you're probably not there to see them.
And Griffin even said that during the thing. He's like, dude, Wargasm and Bloodywood have been so kind and genuine and just amazing people to us on this tour, so they deserve all the love you give them. So give them all your love. Like, these guys are fucking awesome. All these bands are awesome. And
Griffin and Bloodywood both, I don't remember Wargasm saying, like, thank you for buying tickets, basically, but Vended and Bloodywood both were like, like, thank you for, coming to the show, basically, or like buying our merch, buying like doing whatever. Because, I mean, that's how they make their living. That's how, and they're very grateful to be on this tour with Bloodywood as well. So,
going over their set list real quick.
Let's go into the set.
They came out to the intro. I liked the intro they came out to. I know the song they came out to their intro where it's just playing a song and then it like staticky cuts to a different thing. Like it's
kind of like you're moving that radio.
Right. It's very early 2000s, very early, like late 90s sort of aesthetic to it, of trying to find something you want to listen to, tuning the radio, as you said. I liked their intro for that. But then they come out to Dead to Me, Am I the Only One, Overall, Burn My Misery, The Far Side, and Asylum. So quick set, only 6 tracks.
Yeah.
But like I said,
great.
So much energy. Sound is so fucking awesome. I love these guys. I want to see them again, and I will see them again. If
you like Slipknot, and I'm not saying this in a way of everything we just said, but if you like Slipknot, check them out, because they have a very similar sound, but in their own way. Is that the right way to say it?
I guess I can see that. I mean, I guess I can see that.
That's how because I really didn't listen to them. I think I've listened to a few songs like on playlists or whatever, but when I heard them at the Metro the first night, like I got into it right away, because I'm like, this is a little bit like Slipknot. Like I mean, I don't want to play it off as like it's Slipknot, because it's not, but I got the sound of like it was like Slipknot. That sound. We've seen other bands in the past couple weeks that I'm also like, oh, that riff reminds me of Slipknot, this reminds me of Slipknot. So I'm not playing it off that their daddies are in Slipknot, so that's why it sounds that way. Anyways, do you want to talk about the drum set?
I mean, we can. I did notice also that the drum kit had like the Slipknot star on it at the Metro, and then when we were on the rail for the second show, I could also see the Slipknot S in there as well. And I was like, oh shit, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, and you don't know if it's an old drum kit or if it's just a play off of like memorabilia or something.
A part of me, it makes sense now that that's Sean's son.
Oh yeah.
That I was like, oh cool. I don't know whose drum kit it is. Is it an old Joey drum kit, or?
Oh, that would be even cooler.
That would be fucking awesome. Or what, right? But a part of it is too, like when you go on tour and you get a new setup, you probably get new equipment. And what do you do with your old equipment? You donate it, you sell it, you do something. So like this sort of like, cool, this kit was used on XYZ tour or whatever. It's still being used today. Like it's a musical instrument that's still being played and still, doing what it was meant to do, make music. So that was awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, then we get into our headliner.
Oh, okay.
Or is there anything else you want to say?
No, it's fine. No, I'm good.
Cool. Bloodywood.
Bloodywood.
Luckily, we got to see them last year at Beat Kitchen.
Yes, that was really lucky that you saw that article and you jumped on it right away, because that show sold out and I think sold out quick.
I don't know how fast it took
I thought
out.
I thought it sold out quick.
I don't know. I can't speak to that. It was a very small venue. And yeah, we got an article, I think, from the Pit, and it was Bloodywood's doing their first U.S. tour. Check them out. Tickets go on sale Friday. And I was like, I have no clue what Bloodywood is, and why is this so important? And I looked up the name of the band at that point to find out a little bit more information, and it was Indian folk new metal.
Yep.
And I was like, huh. I like music from different countries, and especially when you use lyrics from, like, non-English lyrics. So just before that, a little bit before that, the Blacklist was out by Metallica. My favorite tracks on, though, are the non-English versions of the songs. So I was like, maybe I'll check this out. This will be awesome. And you say it's folk, so I'm expecting very traditional Indian instruments and music there as well.
Yeah.
I want to see how this melds together. And I can't remember if I played any of the music. I remember telling you and being like, she's not going to want to go to this. Fuck. What do I do? And I think I just bought them anyway and said, we're going. You're going to like it. Trust me.
I think you might have just bought it, but you did play me a song in the car. We were on our way to Milwaukee, I think. And you played one song, and I was like, okay, sure, let's check this out.
And the way you did it was like, we'll go to it.
Yeah.
I'm not sold.
Yeah.
So got the tickets, said fuck it. It'll be an experience. I think nothing else.
Like, I don't want to talk too much about Beat Kitchen because we have a whole podcast on that, so we can like tag that, or link it or whatever you do. But I think the tickets were like $15.
It was super cheap.
So it's like, if we hate it,
we're out.
It's less than a dinner,
right?
So it's like it's fine.
So that's how we found out about them, and then they announced this follow-up tour this year, and I was like, fuck yes, let's go, let's check this out. We did expect and kind of knew it's essentially going to be the exact same show we saw last year.
Because they don't have a new album yet. It's the same exact album.
They only have their first debut album.
Yep.
And that was the thing they also mentioned on
the live stream.
The live stream of like, hey, we're coming to the U.S., tickets going to go on sale. Or they had already been on sale. I think they sold a bunch of shit out already. Yeah.
But they were like, tickets are still available for many shows.
Yep.
So
if you want to see us, now's the time to do it because we're doing this tour, and then you're not going to see us for a long time.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go back home and we're going to make a new album.
Yep.
Which I think was the other like big announcement other than the bus.
The bus, yeah.
Which part of me was like, I hope they come out with new tracks for this tour. Like maybe they have one they've already been working on.
Like we would hear one new thing or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nope, didn't get any of that, but that's fine. The performance, the music, all of it is fucking phenomenal.
Let's go through the tracks. Did you happen to check yet if it's exactly the same as last year?
I haven't checked if it's exactly the same. I imagine it is, but I have not checked.
Okay.
And the other thing that was cool before getting into the tracks is for Beat Kitchen, Raul was
Lane
sick.
closure ahead on I-55 north in 2.4 miles. You're still on the fastest route.
Thanks.
Raul was sick and couldn't be at that show.
Yes.
So.
And at the time at Beat Kitchen, we're like, we don't know who Raul is.
I wasn't sure if he was
the rapper,
the rap vocalist, or the growl Hindi vocalist. But he's the rap vocalist, and
I had no clue, so I didn't know that there was rap in it.
Yeah. So I was curious how that was going to do. They used backing tracks at that time for him, but this time I got to see it.
Phenomenal show, and we have. I mean, like I said, we have a whole podcast on it, so.
We did get to see him this time, which was awesome. Great stage presence by him.
Oh my gosh, he is. Yes, he puts on. I mean, just as much as the Hindi vocalist. Like, yeah, so great. All the guys do.
Yeah, all of them do. Going over the track listing real quick, we have Gatter, BSDK.exe executable, Ajay. I'm gonna fuck a lot of these names up. Sorry. AAJ is the name of that song.
Yeah.
Dana Dan, G Verzi. We'll throw them up.
Just read them on the screen.
Zingzero C, Matcha Bahasta, Expect a Riot, in parentheses, Ari, and for the encore, Gatter again.
Yes.
Which I do remember that from Beat Kitchen show, is they opened with Gatter, which is like their big track, and they ended with Gatter as well.
Yep. Which, when they did that again at the Metro, I was kind of excited, because I think that's the one song that that you played me before going.
Yep.
So I think I might, I don't think I listened to it again between you playing it for me and going to their first show. But the day after the first show at Beat Kitchen, like, I just put it on YouTube or whatever and like just listened to that over and over and over. Like, I loved that song. It was so good.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. Yeah, and it is weird that you come out to it and do it again.
Yeah.
But you've only got limited number of tracks so far, so...
Yeah. Which, this is probably the last time we're going to hear them do that.
It might be.
Unless it's just an ode to like them all the time that they come out and do it twice.
Maybe, but I could see it not. I could see them closing on it going forward. Yeah,
going forward, I bet you they're going to close and they're going to have something else as their opening track. So, and maybe when they write this album, they're going to write something not the same as Memento Mori, but like that they know this is what we're going to open with.
This is the one we'll open with, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you usually do that anyway, right? Like when you tour with a new album, the first track is typically something off that new album.
Yeah, yep.
For most bands anyway. I wouldn't say for everyone, but most times it is that way. Yeah, definitely been listening to the music videos a lot more on YouTube as well, or watching them.
Yeah.
And there's like that Dead Dog song they have, which is so depressing, and like, fuck you for making that.
Like
but
Dead Dog, it's like you live your life with this, and then there's the sorrow of it passing away.
I guess, but like at the end they like do this whole thing about stray animals and adoption and taking care of animals. So very like, animal focused, animal friendly people, and that's great. Like that's awesome. I just don't want to think about that shit.
Right.
And whenever I hear this song now, I think of like, oh, there's animals that are being abused and that don't have loving homes. And it's like,
so donate.
I don't want to fucking think about this.
Donate to your local humane society or some animal charity. Feed the Beast is great.
That one too. Yes.
Have we posted that yet? We can link them again.
But yeah. I enjoyed their set. I enjoyed everything about it. It was fucking phenomenal. Again, the one thing I will say, I still think the Beat Kitchen show is 100 times better than these shows. But that's not because these shows were bad. It's because that one was so good, and I think it was it was so small. The smallness of it, and the what's the word I'm looking for?
Intimacy.
The intimacy of it, right? Yeah. Of having like 200 people at most in this room and packed,
150
jumping.
Probably. Yeah.
That experience was so great, and like I said, these two shows that we saw, just as good. The only difference is that smallness of it, and I don't think we're ever going to see that again from this band. I hope we aren't, because they're going to get too big, I think. Yeah, I mean, soon I hope that we're seeing them at like Aragon or like something huge, and selling out the whole thing. Can you imagine the floor, like the crowd at like Aragon when they sell that out? Like, we're putting it out there in the universe. It's going to happen. But I had two things. Okay, so one, seeing them at Beat Kitchen, I loved the crowd. I loved the interaction with the band. Like, I think at Beat Kitchen they could like talk from the stage to the sound stage. They could talk to the crowd without microphones. Like, they didn't need microphones. But the stage was very small. It was. So the presence was still there. I'm not saying it wasn't there, but like they weren't able to move as much or move around as much, where both of these stages were larger, so you got the full aspect of their performance, and all 6 of them on stage this time, like we said, because Raul was there. And it was fucking phenomenal. It was so good. That was one thing. What was the other thing?
Oh, both of them. So I liked the crowd, but at Beat Kitchen, sorry. So I liked the crowd, and then at Beat Kitchen, the stage was smaller, so like you didn't get that full aspect of it.
Okay.
Sorry, those are my two things from seeing them at Beat Kitchen.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I agree. Both of these shows were very fucking phenomenal, but Beat Kitchen will probably hands down always be one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, for sure. 100% agree with that. And like we said already, it's the intimacy more than anything.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
It didn't like their performance didn't change between these shows. They put on the same performance. We did get to see Raul this time, which was awesome.
Reported ahead on I-55 north in half a mile. You're still on the fastest route.
Thanks.
But yeah, it was great.
Yeah. I think this is. I mean, granted, they're not Metallica, but I think this experience is like when we went to see Metallica 40th, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, I saw them in San Francisco 40 years ago at such and such club."
Right.
Like they will never forget that experience.
And
that
same
they
thing
had.
with when they came back and did like their
Metro
their
yeah.
secret shows. They did one at I think the Fillmore in San Francisco, and then one at Metro.
Yep.
And that is probably the smallest venue they're going to play.
Yep.
Because of who they are now.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like us seeing Disturbed at the Vic.
Yeah.
Like, we'll never get that back. I mean, we'll always have those memories, but like, we'll never see that again.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean.
Anyways.
It was awesome.
Yep.
They're going to keep blowing up, I hope. They're such a great band.
Yeah.
I'm excited for new material to come out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before we get to see them again, unfortunately, but when they do come back, definitely check them out again.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned, Raul wasn't there the first time, and I was wondering how they were going to do that. We've seen a few bands now where Helvetia is... Helveta, whatever.
Helveti.
Yeah. However you pronounce that name as well, I suck at this. Krieger couldn't be there for them as well. So, once again, it was like, how are they going to take care of this? How are they going to accommodate that? And they did it a really unique way where they brought other vocalists out to sing. That night I was thinking like, well, how are they going to do this? Because if it's the Hindi, I doubt anybody else can sing that aspect.
You don't think Griffin can sing Hindi?
Well, I was thinking,
you mean from Beat Kitchen?
From Beat Kitchen,
okay,
right.
Okay.
If it's the rap, there wasn't a rap component in the first band, so in A Killer's Confession, well, maybe a little one, but not the same way. And it's kind of a lot to put on, I think, a band to say, can you come out and sing these lyrics? So they ended up doing a backing track for his vocals, and that worked fine, 100% fine. I will say, so we saw Spirit Box just before this show, and they use backing tracks heavily in their music as well. And as we talked about during that podcast, I think it works from a composition standpoint of the music. Like, when you listen to the music on Spotify, it's good music. I really enjoy the music. But hearing that backing track live was a little off-putting to me at the time.
Right.
I'm still sort of on the fence of where I fall, if I like it or not. For Bloodywood, they also use backing tracks for some of the musical elements of their songs. And for the live performances.
Okay.
And I wasn't as off-put by it as I was.
Oh, yeah. But it's very small. And, like, their performances, it overplays the
And that's
track.
what I'm trying to figure out is why that is.
Yeah.
Like, why for Spirit Box I didn't enjoy it, and why for Bloodywood I enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
And
well, even... Oh, go ahead.
No,
Sorry,
I was just
I thought you were
going to say,
done.
and I think you're right, that it's the element of it isn't the primary focus. When Spirit Box is doing it, there's nothing else, and it's
like nobody's playing,
and it's in the middle of the track and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the song or at the end of the song, I'm fine with that. Bloodywood had it throughout the entire song, don't get me wrong, but then the other elements came in, and that then took my focus away from the backing track and the energy on the stage. And that's not to say that like Spirit Box didn't put on a good performance. They did. I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
Why one I'm not as big on, the other one I liked a lot more.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do think it has something to do with how it was used, I guess.
Yeah. So before we saw them at Beat Kitchen, and sorry, I feel like we're always going back to Beat Kitchen, But before we saw them at Beat Kitchen, we were wondering how they were going to do the, I'm going to say Bollywood type parts. It's the traditional like folk parts of their songs. Like if they were going to have a backing track for all of that, or if they were going to have like the flute and the drum come out, which they do during the performance. So they do have the traditional instruments, those two anyways, that they bring to the stage. And like the flute is played by the guitarist, which I can't remember what his name is. But, and then the Indian drum, the traditional drum, I'm sure it has a name, and I apologize to anybody listening to this.
Kieran is the flutist. The flautist.
So he plays the guitar and the flute, and with himself.
According to,
that's part of the bit of the show. But so he stays out there all the time, but then the traditional drum goes off stage because not every song has that.
Yeah, and
so he's only on the stage during like 8. I don't even know how many songs there are.
He's on for a decent number.
No,
but
I think there's 2 that he's
when
not.
When his element isn't there, he can get off and get some drinks.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 songs that he's not on stage.
Yeah.
And that's something else that I noticed none of the bands did that other headliners do, and maybe it's the length of their set, is they never did a bit. I mean, they do a bit where like Raul and the Hindi vocalists are doing their speech, which is very profound. If you ever find it on YouTube or something, like listen to their speeches because they're very
I don't want to say politically charged, but like
in a way
what's the word I'm trying to find? But they're definitely like a very positive spin on very not positive things.
So there's one against
rape,
sexual assault. And then there's one against state journalism. I don't think it's journalism as a whole. Maybe it is journalism as a whole. I take it as state journalism.
I was thinking more of like journalists who are just out to make money and not like, I'm going to clickbaity journalism type stuff.
That's a good way to put it, because I always thought it was like state journalism, so it's a good way to have a different perspective on that. And then there's one on depression or mental health.
Yep.
There's one on like not pushing your limits, but like when we heard it at the Beat, or when they did it at the Beat Kitchen, it was more on like, we're a small metal band from India. Like, you don't see people like us.
Your dreams can come true.
Yeah.
Our dreams haven't come true yet, but we're working on them.
Yeah.
Your dreams probably haven't come true either, so don't stop working.
Yeah. So don't put limits on yourself, basically, is what it is. Is that all of them?
I think so.
Okay. And they all have to do with the song as well.
Yeah, it leads into the song.
Out.
Yep.
So it's a good way to add that element to like what the song is about, because a lot of it is in Hindi. So if you don't know Hindi, which we don't, then at least you kind of have an idea of what you're listening to or what is going on. So
all in all, fucking phenomenal time. All the bands I enjoyed a lot. I had a blast. It's going to be a little while before we see him live again, and I'm a little disappointed in that, but I'm excited to see
hopefully just a couple years.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what they come out with.
Me too.
Their first album was so great, and like, just can't wait to see more. I want more of everything they're doing.
What they did. I can't wait to see a show again. I even told Brian this morning, like, if we knew where they were going to be and we didn't have plans this week, I would have traveled again to see them, because it's so good.
That's true too. Like, Chicago to St. Louis is like a 4-hour drive, so it's super quick down, and it worked out that it was the weekend. So
it is the weekend.
Didn't have to work and make it work. So it's awesome. You get the chance to see them live. They're phenomenal. I don't think this will be posted while they're still touring, unfortunately, but
check it out in a couple years after they make some new music.
And just check them out now. Listen to them.
Listen to their music now, for sure.
But when you get the opportunity to see them live, they're 100% worth it.
Jump on those tickets right away. So
anyway, I don't have anything else unless you have anything else.
Nope.
This was a great show.
Nope. Great show, great trip, great 2 shows.
Yep.
Since we
Even though it was the exact same show for both bands, or all the bands, both nights, it did not detract from that whatsoever.
No. It was phenomenal. So
awesome. Well, we'll see you.
Bye.